What is going on, guys? How y'all doing on this Sunday afternoon? This is the Club of the Man 1993, and we are here for some baseball news. And big announcement this week coming from the Seattle Mariners organization, indeed. It's a little complicated, though, to explain. So, again, for someone who, I'm a huge baseball fan, I never really follow, the numbers, where the business side much, besides, I more follow, the actual game statistics and whatnot. So I'll do the best I can to explain this one. But the tentative and most likely candidate for American League Rookie of the Year, 21-year-old Julio Rodriguez, this past week signed a huge contract extension with the Seattle Mariners, looking to have him be their franchise player for quite the next decade or two. This deal, though, right now is guaranteeing him $210 million over the next 12 seasons. However, though, there is a catch to this. He could make more, and the contract could run another. Basically, there's going to be a decision after 8 years to make in this contract. You have the 5-year option, or you have an 8 to 10 year option, depending on where he places in the MVP voting over the next 8 seasons. So the pressure's on for this guy who hasn't even played, who is just getting ready to finish his first full year in the majors. So they're really relying on him. Also reportedly, there's a full no trade clause in this contract as well. So what we have here is Rodriguez will make $120 million through 2029. Per Rosenthal, that takes the form of $15 million signing out bonus to pay up front, with $105 million to be distributed between 2023 and 2029. After the contract's 7th year, the Mariners must decide whether to effectively re-extend Rodriguez for either 8 or 10 years, with the size and value of that long-term club option, depending on how Rodriguez finishes in MVP voting. At minimum, Seattle will be deciding whether to extend the contract by 8 years and another $200 million. That figure escalates as follows, depending on how Rodriguez finishes in the MVP ballot over the next 7 years. And here's the scenarios. The extensions could feature $240 million over 8 years with 2 or 3 top 10 finishes. $260 million over 8 years with 4 top 10 finishes. $280 million over 8 years if he wins an MVP and finishes in the top 5 once more, or finishes in the top 5 MVP balloting on 3 occasions. $350 million over 10 years if he wins 2 MVP awards or finishes among the top 5 in balloting on 4 occasions. In the event that Rodriguez hits the highest threshold and the Mariners exercise the option, the contract would max out at 18 years and $470 million in total value. And that's to the 2039 season. 2039, which, dang, I'll be so old by then. I feel so old. And Rodriguez is only 21. Oh, God, I'm so old. I'll be so old by then. Hopefully my kids will be in high school by then. Well, if I have kids that soon. But, of course, if the Mariners do not exercise their multi-year option after year 7, Rodriguez will have a 5-year, $90 million player option he can exercise after year 8 of the contract, which will get him to his $210 million guaranteed over the next 12 seasons at least. And of course, this will, if he declines that 5-year option as well, he'll be in free agency for the first time when he'll be heading to his age 30 campaign. Rodriguez is only 21 years old again. He broke into Mariners camp. He skipped AAA. He struggled though at first at the beginning of the season, hitting 136 apparently was in April. But of course now he's got the average up to 269. Currently has 20 home runs, when his article was written on Friday, 19 doubles, 3 triples, and 23 steals. So definitely well, maybe the average could be up a little bit higher, but definitely potential for a 5-tool player for sure. And above average defensive skills in center field for sure. And again, he's definitely up there with a bunch of big names right now, but definitely right now seeming to be, almost a shoo-in for Rookie of the Year for sure in the American League, especially with the Mariners still pursuing a wild card spot in the American League. They're battling out currently with I think it's the Rays, the Blue Jays, the Orioles are actually in the race also after the rough start they got, but they're actually, I think the Red Sox are in last place in the American League, East right now. Of course, this is also the largest contract ever to be signed by a player with under a year of Major League service time. Before that, it belonged to Rays shortstop Wander Franco, who signed an 11-year deal, $182 million extension this past November. Of course, they said that one of the highest record-setting contracts by a player with 1 or 2 years of service in the majors was Key Brian Hayes of the Pirates, who signed an 8-year, $70 million contract earlier this season. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of relying on Julio Rodriguez. They're setting the bar high for him, especially with the rookie year he's having. Like, definitely his player option could depend on how he does in the MVP voting. So yeah, a guy who has a lot of talent, skipped AAA, is already setting the bar high for him to be an MVP candidate, which I think could happen. This is also a great way to, a good person to put the franchise tag on to make him like the next decade or two, the next Seattle's generation's franchise star. They'll definitely have a big hole in the outfield after the season, because apparently Mitch Haniger is going to be a free agent. Because like I said earlier, there was rumors that if the Mariners did not get back in the wild card hunt, Mitch Haniger was going to be on the trade block, and he's missed most of the season with an injury, which has led a door to Julio to really step it up to being a big name on the Mariners roster. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how the next 7 years go for Julio Rodriguez. He was also, of course, the runner-up in the home run derby this year. Did an excellent job there. Seattle's always been a team that has floundered and never really made the playoffs or whatnot. Last time they made the playoffs was 2001 when they had 116 wins. But since then, it's just been back and forth, and they've come close a few times. But hopefully, this signing, of course, of the veterans they have right now over the next several years, will give Seattle some hope. Especially also with this new franchise tag. Of course, no one can ever replace my boy Ichiro Suzuki. Always my favorite player of all time, but I think Julio Rodriguez will make a huge impact in the Seattle organization, especially if they're putting this much faith in them, signed to at least 12 years. But again, the whole contract could end up going to 8 to 18 years, $470 million. Whew! It's a lot of money. He has a lot of pressure on his back right now. Well, I hate to say that because I don't want to put pressure on him. I don't feel pressured, but he definitely, the bar is set very high for Julio Rodriguez. So we'll have to see what happens down the line. And of course, by the time he retires, I'll be, oh dear Lord, I'll be like in my mid to late 40s when he retires. Jeez. Oh, God, I'm so old. I'm getting so old, guys. I'm getting so old. But other than me having a meltdown over how old I'm getting, that's my thoughts on Julio Rodriguez's huge contract extension with the Seattle Mariners and the implications that could happen after the 7th year. We'll see, of course, in 7, 8 years, or whatever long it is, what those are. And let's see how he does. Let's roll with it. What are your thoughts on this, guys? Make sure you leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. Be sure, as always, to slap a like on the video. Subscribe for more content on my channel. Follow me on Twitter as well, at DemandAirboy93. Until then, guys, I'm checking out. I'll catch you all later. Have a great rest of your Sunday afternoon. And peace out, everybody.
No